Modern women are not getting asked out or accepted at work anymore.
Imagine thinking that it was a bad thing, by the way, for a man to say that it's their job to take care of women. Remember when that was noble? You remember? I don't remember. When the Titanic was sinking, I don't remember all the women complaining that they were on the boats first with the children. No. Were they like, no, I'm staying here. Men, you take the boats. I've got this. No, because that would be weird. That would make no sense, right? And now we're warped, right? So this now we've been programmed as women to think that when a man says it's my job to take care of a woman, you're supposed to be offended by that. Instead of saying to yourself, well, that's a fundamentally decent man that thinks that's his job and is going to work his butt off to make that happen. Warped society. Don't play the game.
The women today live in a delusional world. They should talk to their grandmothers because they did work and work harder, because they did not have all the modern conveniences that their granddaughters have. And yet these young women just complain about doing a little work. I am old, but let me tell you that women who lived in the cities and apartment houses had to come downstairs and pump their water and bring it upstairs. Too many women today are almost worthless.
It just doesn't make sense to me how women are not being asked out on dates. Like, there are so many beautiful women, like, come on, like, just shoot your shot. But a lot of the things that the guys were telling me, and these were guys from the ages of like 19 to 40, was like, no, we don't want to intimidate a woman. If we see them on the street, like, we'll cross the road so that they feel safe.
I do that.
No, we don't want to come across creepy. So I do see that obviously culture has really like removed this from the man, this kind of like the art of the chase. And then that, I think, in effect, is making more men passive.
There's a two-part solution that I have to this dilemma. Number one, women need to stop shaming men for simply approaching them, whether he is attractive in her eyes or not. Yes, I'm calling you out, ladies. Part two, I might get a lot of backlash for this, but more women need to approach. And just to be clear, ladies, I'm not talking about you just doing a brief look at him or a super quick smile, because those are such little hints that he might just think that you're being nice.
After the feudal era of dating and relationships, we've entered this era of relationships where women pick and choose whom they like, with those men who approach them. Women invented this era. Before this, partnerships were coupled up by parents of families coupling a pair. Now two guys can approach a woman, and she can either pick or choose and have two dudes. This is why men don't approach women, because we mostly all realize that women like to be the prize, or will suffer to be with a guy that all women would fight over. This game is a barbaric coupling system. Most men now would rather do transactional relief than to be humiliated and risk not getting relief.
You know what I just realized about relationships? A guy starts off by putting 100% in the beginning of a relationship. And over time, that will slowly go down from like 100 to 95 to 90 to 80 to 85. And then you notice, and you only notice when it goes down to like 75 or 80%, and then you say something. And then when you say something, he puts back 5% effort and you're content. You're like, okay, he put in some effort, but it never goes back up to 100 or 90 or 95. It just goes from like that 75 to 80. And then it goes back down again to like 70. And then it goes down to 60. Long story short, it'll just go back down to 10% when it started at 100. I'm not saying all men do this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as a woman, I feel like we invest more time and put in more effort as the relationship goes on because it becomes more and more serious. Moral of the story, if you're dating a guy and he starts off at 100% effort and you're noticing over time it's slowly going down, I just think that you deserve.
So according to this woman, men start out giving 100%, and that dwindles to 60-70% until she nags him. It bumps up for a bit, then drops off again. So she concludes women give more in a relationship over time. Right. That's why I hear men complain they aren't getting any bedroom fun anymore. Their woman now weighs 200 lbs, and the men are constantly running around, jumping every time she says jump, trying to please her to no avail. 'Cause women give so much more. Right. Tell me another fairy tale.
Me during the earthquake so that she doesn't get the ick. This is literally what men have to do. These are the hoops they have to jump through because of the ridiculous standards that women put on them on social media. Somebody commented and said, new ick, standing still during an earthquake. Somebody else said, what earthquake? I didn't feel shit. That is what you have to say.
Men know how to put 100% effort and energy towards something they want. Women are not sure what they want, but often are 100% sure that whatever they do have is different. They put ridiculous standards on men and hoops for them to jump through. Men get this understanding once they get what they thought they wanted, they realize they were wrong. When women and men can be what others want but cannot ever get, because the person they are with is way more awesome than they could ever hope to partner with, both can offer everything all the time, and the only doubt will be that there is no substitute for making this clear to the other partner, and the results come to 200% satisfaction.
Nobody talks about this, but it is.
To do this are injured.
If you women seriously still want men to approach you, then you have to accept that sometimes it will be at the park while you just want alone time. Okay? Men aren't mind readers, and we don't know when you just want alone time. That's just part of being a woman, the approach, and the rejection is part of being a man. If that is seriously a problem in your life, then there's something wrong with you. Just be nice and firmly say no if you aren't interested. Just like men shouldn't act like jerks when they approach you, you shouldn't act like a jerk if you aren't interested. Is this really so difficult?
So a girl made a video about this on TikTok, and it's put in the most simple terms. I would say every girl I know right now wants a man who is masculine and a leader. And obviously that comes with like asserting dominance and all these things. And all these women want this, but then no women want to listen. They don't want to listen to the leader. So they want the leader, but then they're not going to listen. And it's so funny because it really comes down to like not listening to them is not only just extremely demasculating to them, it's like, so why would they want to be with you? They would go be with a woman who's more feminine and like willing to listen. This is not like, I'm not talking about controlling crazy guys. I'm talking about this is what a strong man in his masculine is. So it's like when you're, you know, doing the whole feminine, you know, new wave feminism, girl boss, I don't listen to anyone, then that's okay. There's a reason why the statistics are saying that all you guys are going to be single and unmarried in the next like 20 years is because you're not listening.
Women want a man to fill her cup, even when his is empty. She refuses to refill his in return, then gets mad when he goes to get it filled somewhere else. But then she expects to get hers filled somewhere else after she has emptied him. Research showed before women entered the workforce in large numbers, they lived 18 years more than men. Today, women do not live longer than men. Women today die at the same age as men, and for the same reason. This is because the stress of working full-time has negative health effects, i.e., stress reduces lifespan. A housewife has way less stress than working. Who knew? That's right, men have always known. I've worked in all male, male majority, mixed, and female majority environments for decades. Generally, the percentage of women in the office directly and exponentially correlated to the amount of drama, turbulence, disruptive problems, and the subsequent reduction of productivity in the office. All male offices were reliable, quick, efficient, and often happy band of brothers, true teams. Things worked well, got done well, problems got solved quickly, and the men naturally supported each other and their teams. Female majority offices were cesspools of endless childish narcissistic unhappiness, near constant backstabbing and undermining, strange obsessions with minor social competitions, neurotic emotionality, primacy on feelings, general interpersonal unpredictability and instability, disruptive complaints and disagreements over minor issues, sometimes imaginary, which were potential landmines for everyone and could take weeks or months to settle, if they settled at all, needless superfluous impediments, and wall-to-wall general stupidity, a real-world soap opera insane asylum hell.
If he's not paying all of your bills, then you are not in any relationship with him.
So if a woman insists on paying her own bills, even if she considers herself to be in a relationship with someone, according to this person, they're not actually in a relationship because he's not their sugar daddy.
Why the hell would you give him a full access to you if he's the only person who benefits from that relationship?
And how does that make sense?
Men benefit just by being seen with you.
Men. Did you know that? You benefit just by being seen with a woman.
Just by sharing your energy, your precious feminine energy with him and your beauty, you're giving them extra confidence and ego boost. You're just giving them social and personal promotion for free, just by giving them an access to you. And another thing is that why would you give him husband privileges if he is not even able to cover all of your bills?
Some women actually don't like being dependent on men to pay their bills. They prefer to do it on their own, whether or not they're in a relationship with them or not.
He's the only person that benefits from that, not you.
Oh dear.
Men fall in love by investing in you. And if you don't make them invest in you, then sooner or later, they will stop respecting you.
Let's hear it for transactional relationships, ladies and gentlemen.
Him paying your bills is just bare minimum, is your non-negotiable. It's 2024 and we need to become a little bit more selfish.
Remember, the moral of this story is, in order to be respected as a woman, you need to get paid. No.
Usually adding women very quickly made everything worse, more troubled, less efficient, and generally poisoned the environment for us. If the woman was over us in management, the situations could become so unworkable, we had to designate our own unofficial org chart to continue functioning and up-manage the hapless female manager. However, when we men could somehow work together without any women around, which was usually anything that was inconvenient, difficult, or required extra time and effort, we did excellent, efficient work and very much enjoyed the boost in relative happiness and performance. Where did all the good men go? They went elsewhere, trying to find a good woman. Social media is teaching women that men need to meet certain criteria before their presence will be tolerated. Specific height, specific income, etc.
Watch this woman before you scroll.
Is this not what women have been fighting for? Equality, screaming at the top of their lungs their independence. So why do you need a man to get up and give you a seat? You should have been there on time like a man to find your own seat. Or do we get to nitpick and choose when men are supposed to respect us, or nitpick our equality? Is it not weird that she's randomly recording strangers on the subway? Because if a man were to do this, he'd be looked at as a creep or a pedo. And the reality is, taught men that there's no good answer. And what I mean by that is if this man gets up and gives you a seat at any point and looks in your direction maybe the wrong way, he's considered a creep. If he gets up and maybe his arm sweeps against your leg, he can be looking at sexual harassment charges.
Okay guys, what do you think about it?
Men must meet not just one of the current benchmarks, they have to meet all of them. Instead of wanting a man who is loving and loyal, it has become more desirable to acquire a man who can provide a lavish lifestyle and look good while doing it. When the interest wanes, a very profitable divorce occurs. And on to the next. If anything, women should now consider approaching men instead. Why would I approach a woman when even the ones that seem to compliment you only to get you into a false sense of security immediately follow it up with an insult? It's happened to me so many times that when a woman gives me a genuine compliment and/or expresses interest in me without following it up with an insult, I'm unable to believe that she's being genuine. And then I don't even know what to say, so I just ignore them rather than risk being insulted. I am glad for this trend that men mind their own business or turn gay or whatever they want to do. It is good that men don't approach women anymore. The relationship between men and women is so deeply wounded with so much hatred that neither side needs to approach the other. We need to focus inward on ourselves and just show basic kindness and compassion to all beings instead of getting involved in all this nonsense. Brothers, if you have still not awakened to the reality, get out of the game entirely. Focus upon the purification and cultivation of your soul, and everything else is fodder and minutia after that. If you are still trying to outgame them or figure out how to benefit from the game, you are still a slave to it, and your consciousness needs to evolve now. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.